Okay. Are we on?
Right?
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trustee Keating?
Here.
Trustee Foster? Here. Mayor Newhart?
Here.
Trustee Polora?
Here.
Trustee McKnight?
Here.
Isabel Hayes? Here. Benjamin Gailey's absent.
Just as a form of introduction, I want to say thank you for your patience for a technological little blip. But, and thank you, Tom, for helping coordinate that. not the problem, but trying to fix it. May I have a motion to accept the minutes of April 6, 2026?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And a motion to accept reports March 2026 Clerk's Office, Treasurer's Statement of Revenue and Expenditures, Justice Department, Planning Department, Department of Public Works, and Building Department. All reports are on file in the Clerk's Office.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And a motion authorization to pay all approved and audited claims in the amount of $275,157.69.
So moved. Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
And the chief is not with us tonight. And forward to correspondence, we have a letter from the village's AHDRB, which is the Architectural Review Board on 30 Brady Road. And we also have a letter of resignation from Zoning Board of Appeals member Margaret Politowski. And I want to just publicly say, Margaret, thank you for your service to our community. Margaret's moving out of the area, but that leaves open a seat and we will be publicizing for that. So, and under discussion this evening, we have what is in our packet as an addendum, a moratorium on commercial door-to-door solicitation. This came about because people were there were solicitors, and what they were soliciting was a request to buy homes, and it seemed out of what the spirit of our solicitation, or even door-to-door peddling. But our original document or code was written in the 70s, and it hasn't changed, and it's time to revisit it. Greenwood Lake has done a similar moratorium. The Village of Florida is doing a moratorium, and the town. Did you reach out to them?
So the Village of Florida actually already adopted a local law back in 2019
Okay.
about like a no-knock
Okay.
registry. So they're not doing a moratorium because they've already addressed
Okay.
it. That's what was and I spoke about today.
That's great. So, and the one great thing is, between the municipal entities, we share information. So there's a lot of rich information out there that we can use and fashion our own pretty quickly, I think. So.
Are people reporting feeling threatened by the folks that are asking to buy their houses?
Yes, they are actually. They're feeling uncomfortable. They feel it's an invasion of their privacy. And I think, that we've gotten a lot of requests for no-knock list or policy. And I was curious, are there municipalities that just do not allow peddling or solicitation, period?
I don't know off the top of my head. I could look to see if there are any, but I know Tom.
Does it have to be in New York? 'Cause I know New Jersey down on the shore, they've stopped complete.
This is discussion amongst the.
Sorry.
I could just look at examples, but as you know, Town of Monroe, Village of Monroe have a similar no-knock
Right.
policy. So what I've seen just around here is that they just have a registry of residents who would opt to not be, contacted. But I could look to see if there's something.
Sorry.
No, no,
to interrupt.
no.
Does the no-knock policy, is it inclusive of, is it all inclusive? Is it inclusive of, for example, the religious knockers, like the Jehovah's Witnesses? Or is it just for purchase?
I believe it's across the board of just your right to say, I don't want to be bothered, basically.
Yeah, because I imagine that there are some people that don't mind that, but they really take exception to someone trying to buy their house, or
Well, I think if you sign up for it, then it's
nothing.
Yeah.
it's all or
You
nothing.
could have a sign that says no solicitation, so
Mhm.
you can't say for these people, but not for these people,
Yeah.
Wouldn't really work for many reasons.
What are the consequences typically? I mean, someone knocks and they're gone.
I think, you mean if someone doesn't want to be. have
No,
their
let's
door knocked,
say there's something in place where there's a local law against solicitation. Someone comes and knocks on the door anyway, trying to buy your house.
What's the
I mean-
penalty if they do?
I mean, what's the consequences?
There's a whole penalties section, and I think we're gonna be amending the penalty section. That if someone has a sign out, or if they're registered with a list, and whoever comes in to apply for a permit will be supplied with that list of the people that don't wanna be
What,
contacted.
someone to call the police and then,
And the permit would be declined.
do you think solicitors have permits typically?
If you do,
They have to, yeah.
But are there people that
I've
are
had a lot of
knocking
door
on the
knockers who
doors?
I'm sure don't have permits.
then they shouldn't be knocking in a way of,
Right.
in that way. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask also, is the folks that are specifically asking to purchase houses, do they have, are they folks that have permits or don't have permits, or?
They do have.
So the ones that we've received complaints about, do you have permits?
How many permits do we get from people a year who want to sell solar panels or buy your house or whatever?
A lot of
All the time?
garbage sales, they want to be your garbage company. And ice cream man every year.
Yeah.
But he doesn't knock on your door,
He
right?
doesn't knock on your door, but he's a peddler,
Yeah.
according to our code,
Right,
he's
right.
a mobile peddler of ice cream. It also says food carts and wheelbarrows and things too, so.
Yeah. So we'll have to look at it very carefully. But for now, I think we have to at least get a moratorium in place so that we can comfortably look at the ordinance and change it.
What kind of volume are we seeing of complaints around this? I know that there is a very high volume of letters being received.
Right, so I received complaints from the HOA at Warwick Grove,
Yeah, I saw that.
right? And they keep following up, they wanna know what's going on, of course. But then there are just, I have gotten many requests for just a no-knock policy to be put in place. Registered, yeah.
And then how does that work if you're on a no-knock list? I guess we were discussing you'd have a decal on your door. We would give you a decal.
I imagine,
And then also whoever signs up to be on the registry, Rena will have that, and then whoever is granted a permit will receive that list.
Okay.
So it's also on them to know,
Yeah.
to not, I guess their address will be on there, so they'll know which houses want to be contacted.
We should look at the conditions of the permit through all of this. And are there, when we are issuing permits and when we're revising the local law, are we legally permitted to disallow certain types of solicitation? Or is it, what are sort of the boundaries in terms of what we are allowed to, our latitude in terms of what we allow?
On its own, or how it's impacting current permits that are issued Or you just mean in general?
in the future, right? If we're kind of reevaluating our law, what latitude do we have in terms of the types of activities we limit?
Yeah, that's where we'll have to just be a bit more, cautious there with First Amendment rights and everything, but it's pretty broad. But we'll just make sure that we, get the wording right and make sure we're not violating anyone's, rights, obviously.
There is some, solicitation, like selling school candy and Girl Scout cookies. They don't need a permit, right? As of right,
Well, they've never come to us,
Right.
so I don't think we've had that once. The only request from the Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts is to set up a table, right, to use rather green or storefront.
I think they do that more often than go door to door, just for safety's sake. Yeah.
We've received feedback from residents that they don't feel safe because, even when you have a service come to your home, sometimes you're sending a text with a picture of the person who's coming, all of that.
Very true. Any other thoughts?
So we're proposing a moratorium
Correct.
for how long? Is it
6 months.
6 months? And then the thought is that we would consider legislation between now and then?
Sooner than later, yes. And then a no-knock policy as well.
This is a moratorium just on no new permits or
That's correct.
licenses.
Right.
Anything in place is not affected. So the ones that are existing are.
Luckily,
Until they expire.
Right.
The ice cream
Yeah,
truck is
yeah.
okay.
It's gonna be safe.
So it's the process, Isabel, that you're going to review and assemble some recommendations, and then we're going to have working meetings around this, or do we need one of the trustees to kind of take on advancing the research around this?
We've already started preparing a local law, based off of other laws that exist that are similar to what Warwick is trying to achieve, so that's helpful. What I would think the process is that we just send the draft local law to the board. The board reviews it, and then you introduce it, and then go through the process of having a public hearing, and then whether you choose to adopt it or not.
So the only change that you're looking at is to enact the no-knock list.
And strengthen like doorstep policies, I
The
think.
criteria,
Yeah,
yes.
so there's gonna be a couple. The no-knock is sort of the main aspect of it, but then there might be other parts of the chapter that will just kind of strengthen a bit more as well.
So can you give me an example of the doorstep criteria?
That was something I think you and I spoke about, or I can't remember.
Oh, like you can't go on a porch or
I
something, right?
guess,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's not about the nature of the solicitation, it's the behavior of the solicitor.
I think we're gonna expand the scope of what currently exists in terms of solicitation.
Right now, peddling and solicitation are kind of melded together, and they're actually two different.
So we want to separate them. So like differentiating a peddler on like a street corner or something from someone that's going to a store.
Yeah, the code currently has two different definitions for peddlers and solicitors, but I think in practice, it's being merged, so
Right.
we'll just make that make sense more.
Right. Would that be like two different permits then?
Right now, that's how it's in the code.
Okay.
There's a separate section or article on peddling, then there's a separate article on solicitation and canvassing.
Makes sense.
So Groovy Scoops, I'm just pointing out, their permit is gonna expire at the end of April, and I think don't they supply ice cream for our summer recreation program?
Can't we make an exception for them? Like in our moratorium?
Yeah, they could, I think they probably normally have to request one.
Because they're not going door to door.
You could let them know and they could come in and get their license before we enter. Well, you can't.
Yeah.
That's
Or just
not-
gonna enact it May 4th.
We
Because their
can't
permit is
just
going to
include an exception.
Yeah,
in
normally there's
the
like a hardship.
resolution.
They can claim a hardship. But I would maybe just touch base with them.
That is a hardship because that's their, if it's 6 months, that's their entire business season.
Right.
I mean, can we make it easy for them or they just like submit a letter?
Just request a hardship.
And then we pass a resolution at the next meeting?
It seems so.
Could we also consider, having this take effect in a week as opposed to tonight?
I'm not sure how that would work if you vote on it tonight, but then it doesn't, I mean, I guess you could just change the
Now,
effective
for
date.
their resolve, yeah. Board of Trustees adopts this resolution effective and implements this moratorium effective.
Sure. That'll put the dates to it.
I think that would make sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
What date are you thinking?
Give them until at least next Monday, I would imagine.
Yeah.
At least, but because I don't, people go away, I
Yeah.
What is the rush on this? Or why the urgency?
Well, because it's just the season, and people are going to be coming to our doors getting permits. And, sort of, there is the unknown who is going to be coming through looking for it. So we have to really act on getting our local law together.
It's interesting too because the law doesn't, it references specifically people trying to sell something. It doesn't reference people trying to buy something.
Or solicit information is also a way to think about it, because I think they're asking people if they're going to sell their homes. So they're not asking to buy them, they're just asking whether they're selling them, is my understanding, or maybe they're doing both.
Taking or attempting to take orders for sale. Goods, wares, merchandise, personal property of any nature.
I don't know, I
That's
see it
just
like,
something to think
like-
about.
if you're willing to sell, here's my business card. What information have I solicited?
That's what I'm saying, so that's just something to think about, like if we're updating and we wanna make sure that it's clear that.
Apparently, it hasn't been as simple as that. Here's my business card, you're interested in selling. There are questions that are involved with a somewhat personal nature relative to your residence.
I don't think it's a unique issue here either, because I get there's text messages and stuff.
People trying to buy my old house, I don't own anymore. I'm still getting those.
Okay. Anything else?
So what was the discussion that we're putting a date on this one or waiting a week?
We're putting a date.
For next Monday.
Yeah.
And you're able to, you have the, contact information for these groups, so you're able to contact them.
Well, I have it from your last permit, but I don't know if anything changed or I wouldn't know, but I guess there's always the
They're on
backup.
Facebook too, and you
Yeah.
can order the ice cream truck, I noticed.
Oh, well, I'm having a little child, be like, by the way.
But if they miss it for some reason, it sounds like they could write a letter and then maybe May 4th, if they can, be granted special permission.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
The board will adopt the resolution tonight, but we'll just make a note that the effective date won't be until next Monday.
Should it be added
So
to
right at the
something
end, I
somewhere?
think, the
What's the purpose of waiting for the moratorium if they're gonna have to have a hardship anyway?
Well,
They're
they
not.
wouldn't if
if
it's
they
not
get in
effective.
and they get in.
If we can get them in here and
Oh, got it.
So right at the end of the now therefore, we could just say effective April 27th, 2026.
Yeah, just comma, yeah. April 27th is next Monday.
Right, it's the 27th next Saturday?
Today's the 20th.
That's right.
Plus 7.
Exactly, exactly.
Plus
I was
seven.
thinking of
I'm good at
there's a
that.
trip coming up. That's why I was, well, I thought you said the 26th.
is everybody set? Okay. Next on the agenda is public comment. It says agenda items only, but I know that you guys are here
Just a quick question, that's all.
to talk about something that's not on the agenda.
No, it's on your paperwork, yeah?
30 Brady Road.
Yeah, I'm just curious, are we gonna know what the correspondence is about? It affects me greatly.
Oh, it's available on our website.
All the actual correspondence?
Yes, yes.
Oh, perfect, I didn't even have to come tonight then.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, I didn't know, I thought it was
Yeah.
going to be
There's always-
presented
So
tonight.
when you go to our website, there's agendas and then there's backup material and it's in there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very much.
But as an aside though, is that I know you live on Brady Road and you're concerned
Well,
about.
but yards,
Right, but you're concerned about the condition of the road, you put to Village Hall. And we're pushing the contractor
Thank you.
and,
I spoke to Barry the other day in the gym. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
he's your
Yeah.
best friend. trust
oh,
me.
okay.
Just as Forrest.
The
Just
golf
wanna
course
stay
and the
on
gym,
top.
I guess, are, you know.
Yeah,
So,
it's
okay,
actually very dangerous.
I know.
The
Yeah, it
oncoming
needs to-
traffic, avoiding the, coming right
The
into
hole,
your
nobody
lane,
wants to hit the potholes, so they go to the other side of the road.
dangerous.
Yeah.
But, okay, you good?
Yeah.
Thank you, I didn't know it was online, so
Thank you for
didn't
coming.
mean to take up your time.
No,
Bye, guys. Thank
Thank you
you.
for waiting so patiently.
Oh, no worries, thank you, have a good night, everybody.
I'll give you, since I was so nice to,
Hello, my name is Raymond Moore. I live on 52 Woodside Drive. I'm here, last week I attended the planning board meeting and the never-ending request by Village View for their 180-day extension. But there was a letter there, and I would like to read a paragraph from that letter from Kurt Rother to Mr. Gallo. We continue to work with the village regarding the water storage tank. This office has been in contact with the engineer for the village, Barton and Lucy,
the duties.
on multiple occasions to share data and discuss coordination of the Village View subdivision water mains and the water storage tank. The video conference between Barton, our office, and Trustee Cheney was held on March 3rd, 2026. To further discuss specifics, conversations have taken place between me and the applicant and Trustee Cheney regarding the anticipated timing of the build-out of Village View for the purpose of the village budgeting the water system improvements. It was disclosed to Trustee Cheney that the applicant expects to have infrastructure installed, lowest elevation homes built, and the need for pressure from the new water storage tank by the second half of 2007.
2027.
So, yeah, my question is, what is going on? Where is this tank going? Is it going on village property, town property? Who's paying for the tank? Who is going to maintain this tank? There is no information to the public about this water tank. Plus, in the later paragraph, they're talking about hooking into the sewer system. Robin Bray has not been addressed. These are what is going on with this water tower. It seems like it's kind of a done deal. You're ready to budget for it. Where is this tower going?
Eric?
Yeah, I mean, you had the meeting.
It's going in the town, off the property in the town, their property in the town, which they would deed to the village. And it will be constructed with the combination of funds from the developer and the village. And it would be a village tank. The important feature of having this tank is it will replace the current Valley View tank and the Chelsea tank.
I understand that, but there are restrictions built into Village View and the property that this gentleman owns where that there would be no annexing or taking property into the village. Are we paying for this property?
That has been
What does I'm sure this developer is not doing this out of the kindness of his heart. Does he later on say, well, this tank is in the town and I'm going to build, he has 70 acres up there. Is he going to say, well, might as well hook into the village water system at the village expense? There is no information. There seems to be I don't know, too much not information going out to the public. What is the property? Will there be a hearing? Does there need to be a hearing? We want to know. And, that tank will be right across the street from my house. What happens if that tank breaks? There has been no safety, concerns. There is nothing. There is nothing.
Because it's at the very early stages.
It doesn't seem like that because you're ready to budget for it.
No.
I know you have to do things year ahead of time,
Yes, of
but
course.
it seems the engineering is going through without any input from the residents. Do we know what's going to happen to our water pressure? It might improve, it might not. But as I've expressed to you, this developer has not done anything unless it enhances his position. This has been going on for 20 years. So is it,
This enhances the village's position.
I understand that, but future enhancements might enhance him too. But I'm just saying, there are restrictions in the agreement between the village and developer that no property would be transferred or deeded or whatever you want to call it from the village to the town. So it's either going to be in the village, which it has to be, because I can't see the village building something on property that, they don't own or have control over.
We have 3 reservoirs on property that is in the town.
You're talking 50, 100 years ago for water. New York City gets their water supply from the Adirondacks. You're talking 2 different things here. We're talking in 2027. This project has been a thorn in the side for this neighborhood. How many times have they done where they're going to build on the wetland, where they're going to build on property that was too steep? They move things over. It's just like a chess game with them.
It's part of the process of.
Can we be a part of the process
Well, you have been. There have been public meetings,
about this
not
water
about
tower?
this water tank, because it's, like I said, it's at the very early stages of developing. And the reason it was a request by the village, because it would enhance our water system overall.
I understand that, but
And the cost of a water tank is tremendous. And that's why it had to be budgeted. And to have one water tank and to get rid of 2 others that are very old and very costly to maintain seemed like a very good move for us.
I understand that, but it has to be done within the rules that the village gave this developer to begin with. It has to be done according to their own, for 20 years, their DEI, well, I don't know all the names, but one of the things that they said explicitly that no property would be transferred between the village and the town. I see that cut and dry. Are there any minutes? Are these meetings have any minutes that we can hear between? Am I allowed to have a meeting with you to tell us what they talked about? No, I am not. We know nothing.
Just so I understand the concern, is the concern that this water tank is going to be implemented in a way that is going to have a deleterious effect on your property? Are you concerned
I'm
about
worried if it's
its
something ever
engineering?
happened, if anything ever happened to it, I'm downstream. But
So
it's.
you're concerned from a
Well,
safety.
that's picking, but I'm just saying that we have rules and regulations, the DEIS, all these meetings for years and years, and there were certain arrangements that were made. And this seems to be in violation of that arrangement. And
That
being,
seems like
and
something.
being here for 20 years with this developer, he's been very unscrupulous. And, they seem to be getting a pass from some of the planning, or special treatment. And I live right across the street, and I'm gonna be honest, with the thing with the, freedom of information thing and all that, that's still going on. why it wasn't on the village website. It just seems we don't have the information.
So just to kind of, so that I make sure that I fully understand.
And you're a
right?
newbie, you had to be here.
Yeah, I wasn't here for the 20 years of the Village View, but
It's
So-
under the mayor's son.
it seems like good next steps for the board, right? Or for maybe Isabella to confirm that the whole process is in alignment with whatever legal
Agreements were made.
agreements were made. And then your concerns about safety and engineering seem like they really need to be flowed through the engineering and design
I
process.
just want the rules to be followed.
And what I also heard was sort of just increased transparency about what's going on with the.
Yes, I mean,
And I believe that this is the tank that we've been trying to advance for quite some time, or is this a different project? Yeah, because my understanding is that this is actually like very much an infrastructure longevity and
Well,
safety and.
it seems that
Resilience
developers have much more
project.
access than the citizens. We don't even get to speak at a planning board meeting. And one or two times I went to meet with the planning board, and they said, no, it would be a conflict or something. They said they wouldn't sit down and talk with me. All we do is rely on is the website. And like with the last problem, I had a FOIL, because they amended the document that had already been sent. That's still going on, we're discussing, things like that. So that's all I'm saying is, it doesn't look on the up and up. I want to know what's going on. I want the rules to be followed. I'm sorry if it is not financially the best picture for the village, and like I said, mainly I do not trust this developer. That tank goes up there, and it technically would be on the town property. What's this say? Since we're already here, we can just tap into the village water system.
Not without the village's permission, they can't.
Yeah, I understand that, and I don't see that coming, but, this is way down the road, but, he would go to the lawyers, while we built it up there, we partly own it.
They're not building it, they're not gonna partly own it, it's a village
Okay.
property with
In the
village
town.
infrastructure.
In the town.
It's not
Annex.
unusual, not all
Annexed.
that unusual.
We wouldn't annex.
We
it.
don't
Well,
necessarily
what
need
is
to
it?
annex it.
If you're getting a piece of the property from the town,
We
No,
would have
from the developer in the
no,
town.
in the town,
Right.
From the
which would be
developer.
annexing property.
No, it's
From
not
the
an
village
annexation, no.
You're
We,
talking-
the
you're
village
talking
owns,
semantics.
excuse me, no, I'm not. Let me explain. I'll give you a good example. The reservoir system. We own the property all around the reservoir
I
system.
understand.
And it's all in the town and it's village-owned property. We control it completely.
That is like the New York City water system. They own all the property up there. That's the
It's
whole.
no different
that's a
than this
whole-
tank,
That's a
I'm sorry.
whole different ball of wax. That's a water system, the government, you have reservoirs, you need water, and you do what you have to. This is not right. It's something not going right here,
Raymond, can we put the developer aside, Village View aside? If that wasn't even in the picture, and we were putting that water tank up there to serve the village, would you still have an issue with it?
No, I just want.
So then I fail to see the difference.
I just see everything around here depends on what you've done previous will set the standard for the future.
Sure.
I mean, it was, when this agreement was made, the village was very concerned about annexation. And it's in the agreement. I don't care what you call it, it is town property now coming into the village.
I think what we should do, just because I think we're just gonna go
Yeah,
around
yeah,
in
this is
circles
gonna go
here,
around.
is just have the attorney review
Yeah, we'll
the
have, I think
agreements.
we're at the point where we're gonna have an attorney for several things with this project. I would not like to do that because I have to pay for it, but, we're getting to that stage.
Well, we're offering our legal service to figure out exactly what you're
Okay, that's,
concerned about.
and I'm at a disadvantage because our lawyer, God bless her, she was instrumental in this whole village, who is now the planning board lawyer, and we can't use it.
Right.
I have to kind of dig deeper and start from scratch again. So, if anything that could save me on, lawyer fees, I'd appreciate it, but I just want the rules to be followed.
Well, I
And
know that,
sometimes it might not be the financially thing for the bill. What is the situation on Robin Bryant? He's talking about sewer lines. It seems like he, dragging, like I said, we've all had our full of this developer. I don't know about you guys, but the residents have, especially after what he did to the property across, on Woodside, that he just decimated that, so. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
does anybody else want to make public comments?
Come on, kids. There's free cookies.
Get this meeting done. Okay. We'll move on to motions and trustee changes.
Number one, motion to accept the bid from Joe Lombardo Plumbing and Heating of Rockland, Inc. for on-call HVAC and plumbing services for the Village of Warwick for the period of June 1st, 2026 through May 31st, 2028, as per the recommendation of DPW Supervisor Mike Moser.
Second.
All in favor?
Motion to accept the bid from Joseph Warren Electrical LLC for on-call electrical services for the Village of Warwick for the period of June 1st, 2026 to May 31st, 2028, as per the recommendation of DPW Supervisor Mike Moser.
Second.
Discussion, please.
Sure.
What were the vendors that were considered for this beyond Warren Electric and the next one, J&N Electric?
That was all we received.
I don't know who they sent requests to. I know that I provided a fairly long list of contractors for various services. I don't know what was used. I can't say that.
Was it an
off the top
open
of my
bid call
head.
or was it sent to specific vendors?
No, so I sent out the bid from the list.
It was-
It's on my
there was an-
computer, I'm sorry, I can tell you everybody, but it's over there.
Oh.
No, but it was sent out to everyone who you proposed on the list and who we've had from the past, plus it was on our website, plus it was sent to the advertiser. That's the standard for what we've done. We only received the 2 bids.
Do you know how many were the total pool?
I might be able to bring that up fairly quickly.
Feels so far away from like, the source.
I know, you're-
It's telling me it's deleted. It's scary.
I'm gonna scoot over.
Just let me try one other.
Is there like a number you're looking for, Tom?
Looks like
Like if
this
they
is all-
confirmed over 10 or?
So my list of electricals has 9 firms on it.
And only 2 responded, huh?
Oh, excuse me, this was for electrical, right? The list for mechanical HVAC has 12 firms on it. There were, for the plumbing, has 6.
Have we gone with both of these vendors in the past?
Yes,
I know.
there are current ones, and we do too, because, there's a difference in their, services in terms of, commercial versus non-commercial type things, so, and also availability, a lot of it has to do with availability. If one's not available to meet our timeframes, then, we seek the other. So we try and find between the two of them who can meet where our needs are at the time.
So do they publish rates?
Rates are given in their contract, so it's in the backup information.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's like 100, I was just looking at it actually.
Yeah.
Oh, I see, 150.
The electrical is 125 hourly rate for both routine and emergency.
That's for JM. Before that,
Oh, 115,
115,
167, 169.
So we have a second. All in favor?
which one was that?
That was,
Those were.
That was number 3, okay. Motion to accept the refuse bid from Sunny Zito Sanitation Company,
That
Inc.
was 2, actually, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's-
My bad.
You are
My
on
fault.
3.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Let's go back to number 3. Motion to accept the bid from JM Electrical and Sons for on-call electrical services for the Village of Warwick for the period of June 1st, 2026 to May 31st, 2028, as per the recommendation of DPW Supervisor Mike Moser.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept the refuse bid from Sunny Zito Sanitation Company, Inc. for the supply of a 30 cubic yard roll-off container for refuse as needed at the Central Garage, 24 Memorial Park Drive, in the amount of $248 per pull with a tipping fee of $135.15 per ton. Per the recommendation of DPW Supervisor Mike Moser, the contract period will be June 1st, 2026 to May 31st, 2027.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept the refuse bid from County Waste Ulster LLC for the supply of a 2 cubic yard container for the sewer plant, 104 River Street, in the amount of $10 per pickup per recommendation of DPW Supervisor Mike Moser. Contract period will be June 1st, 2026 to May 31st, 2027.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept the bid from W.M. Schultz Construction, Inc. in the amount of $15,478,000 for contract number 2A, general construction for the Village of Warwick Wastewater Treatment Plant Improvement Project, and authorize the mayor to sign any necessary documents regarding the same as per the recommendation of village engineer Barton and Judas.
Second, it might be worth a little explanation
Discussion, please.
for folks that might not have been following this.
Yeah, and a lot of people have moved since we started this, probably. Yeah, this has been going on for a while, and it's finally culminated in having gone out for bids. And this is for the general contract, and it's $15 million. I don't know how much detail you want me to get into, but initially when we embarked on this, we were looking at a project that was going to be total about $9 million. It has gone up as a result of time that's elapsed and some other issues related to supply chain and tariffs, and, you name it. And so this actual contract is only one part of it. There's a subsequent motion that will provide for the electrical, but then there are the other costs associated with design, construction observation, construction administration, the engineering, I'm trying to think, pretty much the full gamut, and that's gonna push the entire project up around 21 million. So, and we have 3 million from the state right now, and the mayor is urgently and doggedly pursuing additional.
And there's some, yes, we're looking for funding, grant applications, obviously. But within EFC, there is a conversation that's happening internally because they recognize the time that went by, and that initially the 3 million was based on a $9 million project. And so at our request, they are looking at it very seriously, and hopefully something good will come out of that. I believe something will. Also, part of it was the time consumption was actually their bureaucracy, which really put probably 2 years onto
Yeah.
the way.
Who's bureaucracy?
EFC.
Yeah.
I think, oh, go ahead.
We spent quite a bit of years trying to understand and get exemptions from the MWBE requirements. And so that kind of extended things because we weren't getting direct, explicit answers to the questions about how we need to navigate this.
Right. There also was COVID. Also, there was many changes within the department.
Right.
So it was like,
Who gave the original estimate? Was it our
department,
was that realistic in the first
At the
place?
time, I don't have any reason to believe it wasn't.
Yeah, there's been a huge amount of increase in overall construction costs since that time.
I guess one of the, I don't know, bright spots, but our residents, our taxpayers have been paying money since 2018, I believe it was. And so at that time, when we embarked on it, we wanted to put in place the funding that would allow us to pay the annual debt service for the project at $9 million. And so every year we've accumulated between $450,000 and $500,000. So when it comes time to pay the final bill, we'll be able to lay about $5 million on the table and deduct that from the costs.
And then the debt service, like, I think another important note is it won't increase taxes because the debt service will be
extent.
around what we've been
Yeah.
putting away.
Yeah.
So it's already been taken into consideration.
Which, by the way, is responsible, prudent planning. I appreciate those who've been here for a while, that you've done that. I just think that, yes, we can cover the debt service, but we'll pay it off in what, 22, 26 years? And by that point, are we going to need a new wastewater treatment plant?
I think we're looking maybe 20, 21, 22 years for the debt service. And, there are some ways that we might be able to make that shorter. One of the other things that the state EFC has come through with is most of the loan will be zero interest, and a portion of it will be very low interest, like less than 2%. So that in itself means that when we turn over that $500,000 in debt payment, it's going to pay the debt. It's not going to pay a lot of interest.
Yeah.
I mean, if the infrastructure useful life, I mean, it's obviously gonna vary by equipment, but I mean, it should be at least 50 years before you have to do like major.
I think 30 is probably better.
More
This should be, this is different than the technology that we're using now, in that wears out probably in a shorter period of
I know
time.
we have more
This
electric.
is a lot of, concrete and blowers and, air injectors.
Does this include the equipment and all the technology? Is this general construction? So, okay, so it's not, okay. it's just labor, this is everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you can't really kick the can down the road anymore on this, right? Like, it would be really inadvisable. to do
Why
that.
not? Like, just,
well,
Yes.
we're operating now with, of our 15 RBC units, we're operating with 3 of them offline. They're not working. We're still meeting our effluent standards, which is great, and which is why we're able to keep telling DEC, we really don't need to fix these 3 RBC units, and you know, to fix one is probably gonna be $25,000-$30,000 to, because it operates with shafts and bearings and.
so on one hand, we have obviously aging infrastructure.
Mhm.
On the other hand, we have the state bearing down on us with more and more requirements
Mhm.
as time goes on. And those two things are diametrically opposed.
Yeah.
Right?
and
So I
then
can
we
see how
also
the gap is widening. It sounds like you've got an iron in the fire to discuss what kind of relief could be there. Sounds like that's pending. Let me pose the hypothetical. What if we didn't do anything?
We'd be probably, well, we put $50,000 a year into the RBCs, in the budget for RBCs. We probably, this year or last year, we probably spent 25 or 30 of that.
Because there's a difference between treating the wastewater and treating the wastewater to rising standards. Right? There's a difference in.
Yeah, and
cost.
if the standards change significantly, and there's always that potential that it will, that they ask us to start treating for things that we're not treating for now. You know, they're gonna be doing that to everybody, and hopefully they're gonna find a way to help significantly fund those goals that they're setting.
I'm just trying to find the upper and lower bounds here. 3 out of
The
15 are offline. What if 3 more go down?
If another one goes down, DEC will say fix one of them.
DEC will say that, who's also been rising the standards, but are we still treating the wastewater?
The
effectively?
standards aren't really, for our effluent, they haven't changed much in the last 10 years.
Excuse me.
And unless they decide to go after other chemical constituents of the water, you know, I think we're on solid ground with the technology we're moving to.
I don't get me wrong, I do think we need new infrastructure. I think it's obviously past time, but I'm just, you know, I'm also, as we all are, I know, sensitive to the costs rising up. I'm trying to understand the risk. If we did nothing for now, while there are conversations happening in parallel where the state needs to understand, we need their help.
Just so you're aware of the broader context here too, I think costs are gonna continue to rise because just nationally, we're heading toward this infrastructure cliff. There's tons of municipalities that have been delaying and deferring investments just like this, in some cases for decades. And there was a municipality that I was looking at recently whose capital improvements program has necessarily risen from like, what they were doing was $30 million a year because their elected officials kept kicking the can down the road because they didn't want to make these major investments. They didn't want to raise rates. And now they're looking at like 400 million. And they have to absorb that because of just the amount of infrastructure. So this kind of proactive, I mean, we're seeing actually the impact of delaying the project like 6 years.
8 years.
8 years, for that to continue. It's highly unlikely that the story is gonna get any better, but the urgency is gonna increase and is likely to collide with other needs that we may not even be aware of yet.
Well, and the reality is that our next hurdle is our water treatment plant.
Yeah, so we've got some money for that. And then the tank, the reason that the tank is important is also for infrastructure resilience. So there's a lot of stuff on the horizon that really needs to get done.
And I agree with that, Carly. I'm thinking about this specific, the wastewater
Yeah.
project.
Right.
And, you know, why does, first of all, I don't have the details of how many people have kind of bid for this. And I just get the sense that there are a number of vendors out there that are taking advantage of the uncertain times, and that rising cost is too easy to fall behind inflated numbers, in my opinion. I'm not accusing any particular vendors of this, let me be clear.
I think that's happening nationwide.
Of
How many
Of course, but why is it that some municipalities who will let their infrastructure, like their wastewater system, deteriorate more to get to the point where they're gonna get a lot more help in fixing it than those that are proactive and playing by the rules that are increasingly hard to meet? I mean, I'm not expecting an answer there, but I'm thinking,
But that's been a dilemma.
At large,
At
yeah.
large, yeah.
It's a frustration on my part that, you
You get punished for doing the right thing.
there are a lot of examples out there of municipalities who have just let things go completely, who don't spend the money they need to maintain what they have, and then aren't in a position to do a major project. And they end up letting it just, like in our case, if 8 of our 15 were down, we'd be in trouble. We wouldn't be meeting our effluent standards. We'd be cited by the state. We'd be put under a consent order to do a new plant. And at that point in time, you qualify usually for, at least you're higher up on the list because you've got that consent order against you because you've been bad. And yet we've tried to be good. And from my point of view, it does hurt us because we don't necessarily qualify for as soon as we might otherwise have, if we just let things go.
Yeah, it's almost like a tax on responsible government. But it's what you need to do to be responsible. And I also think that the possibility of the state and federal grants being able to pick up the tab, I think that we're running into we're seeing some serious issues arise. Not here, in other parts of the country.
And I think to your point, the needs of municipalities are growing faster than the funding for the programs that support them. So there's gonna be less money and more need.
Where's our equivalent of Finelli on this project?
Right.
Comes flying in the door.
Right, or MacGyver, to fix the wastewater treatment.
Yeah.
what,
And
who has bid for the general construction? Who else is, how many bids have we had?
we received 2 bids. This company in Cole, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, is the bid summary sheet? Who's included?
At the initial
Yeah.
tour of the project, there were 8 bidders.
There's like a $600,000 difference between Schultz and Coppola.
What happened to the other bidders?
They did not bid.
There's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's part of why the costs can be high at times, is because if they've got work, their pencil's not as sharp. They don't need it, so they know there's gonna be a little opportunity there to maybe make a little more money. And this is just for the base bid. There were 2 elective bid items which we decided weren't necessary and probably could be done less expensively, either by DPW or by putting it out to bid later on as individual items.
I was just gonna ask you about that, right? So if you broke it up, which sounds like you considered that.
Well, there were certain, there's the basic plant, which is huge, which is $15 million. And then there were a couple of other things that were smaller. One was to get rid of the RBC units. That's something that can happen at any time. We see there, bless you, we see there to be some potential salvage value there. We think that just as an example, the low bidder Schultz bid $310,000 for removing the demolition of the RBCs. Coppola bid $95,000. So, that sends a message that maybe it isn't 300 and something. So why go ahead and do it now with Schultz when either DPW could do it or we could bid it out later. The other one was the general construction for the pole barn, and that was
54,000.
54 versus 88. But the interesting thing is if you go to the next bid that we're going to award for the electrical, the electrician that was the low bid wanted $50,000 to put a few lights in to the pole barn. So it just seems like the pole barn, which goes over the UV system that we installed a couple of years ago, was first of all, may not be necessary or could be done at a later date if it was determined to be necessary, because it was to control temperature, to keep the sun from shining on the UV area and heating up the water. But the expectation is that by replacing the RBC units, which the RBC units are basically biological hothouses that heat up the water to begin with the new technology, that won't exist. So the temperatures should go down and be within what we're required to discharge at.
Oh, there's a I understand, a new pole barn over the tank.
Right.
Kept saying pole barn, I thought we were conflating things that they don't just built.
No.
Okay. No, first of all, I recognize the incredible amount of work that you've done. I know Barton LaJudas has been managing this for us. It's disappointing to see just 2 bids. I know we put it out there. I do question how much B&L has advocated on our behalf, rather than just picking the right engineered kind of solution, but to helping us keep the cost down. I'm just reading their letter. That's 1 paragraph. Who's going to suggest a $15.5 million bid acceptance with 3 sentences? To me, that feels a little bit not appropriate for the amount that we're about ready to spend. It makes me wonder what due diligence they've really done on the cost part, but they said, low better, go with this one.
Well, it was discussed, one of the options was throw them out and start all over again with new bids. And it just didn't seem to be prudent, because time would, in all likelihood, increase costs, not decrease it. We're moving into the middle of a construction season, when everybody's pretty busy. The delay wouldn't be in our favor.
Well, when would construction start?
Construction's going to start, they're gonna get the notice to proceed tomorrow.
So you think they'll start working on it this year?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, clearly, yeah.
I thought there was more design work and.
No,
that's
it's all.
Yeah. That'll have to be, because the state is looking at every aspect of this project,
They had to review, yeah. That was part of the length of the project, was, the state getting the plans and reviewing them, and
Tom, were you expressing concern that maybe Barton and LaJudas needed to value engineer more, or that you're not sure that there was enough of that in the process?
I don't have confidence that not that I don't have confidence in them, but I'm not sure how much they have advocated on our behalf for the single largest, biggest ticket item in the village's history. I'm not confident that they have done, I think they do a good job on the engineering and the design and they know the process, but how much of it are they really looking at it from our point of view?
Yeah, I'm
One
not
person's
sure.
opinion, I'm personally
I mean,
not in favor.
We could have paid extra money, delayed it another 6 to 8 months if we did value engineering on it. That would have been an option.
So we have the designs complete, and B&L has done that from start to finish. I do wonder if it is worth hiring a third party to do their independent value review. Because if they look at this and say, that doesn't seem right, or, yep, that is what we're seeing everywhere.
That's probably a couple $100,000, right? How much would that
At
typically
least, I
cost?
would
Yeah,
think.
it's-
Yeah.
That'll be a few $100,000.
And time, and then you then end up in a negotiation process with the contractor because you're doing change orders. You're saying, delete this. Well, if you think something could be deleted or changed, and the change is worth $100,000, you're not gonna get that from a contractor. You're gonna get 60 or 65 maybe.
Like just gaming that out a little bit, right? So let's say we do a value engineering contract for like $300,000. And then that delays because then they would have to re-finalize, do designs again and go back out to bid. So that would cost more. So I think you're looking at like a half, maybe a half. How much was the overall design? It was
How
$2
much
million
was spent on
or, yeah, the overall design fee?
Yeah, probably 2, and probably construction and administration observation is gonna be another 2.
Yeah, I feel like you're getting, wait, hold on, I'm just gaming this out for us, because then we can decide, right? Like, I think you're probably getting close to $500,000, maybe a little less. And then, so then we have to think about the time, and then whatever savings they have would have to be greater than the potential construction cost increase that would come from time. So I think we'd have to see a few $1 million in decrease that to then potentially be offset by the potential increase in construction costs over the time period. So it would definitely be like a gamble. And I don't know how much, I have no idea. I don't know how much they would think that they would save.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very logical way to look at it, right? Another way is if you sat down with B&L and said, look, hypothetically, for what you could reduce this by working with and finding other bidders, and you keep 10%,
That's
not going to do that.
yeah.
Like, motivate them to actually do a little more than give me 3 sentences to spend over $15 million. I find that lazy.
We did that. We had those discussions about whether we should proceed with these bids. Michael and I did that. And, the conclusion that we came to with them was that it was not going to be in our best interest.
Did we discuss this as a board in executive session?
We did.
Tom was out? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was remembering that we
Yeah,
had, I didn't remember this.
We had the discussion about whether to throw the bids out or not. And,
That wasn't at that one.
I was
Well, thank you for going through it now, but I think it's important to discuss.
Yeah, no,
Sure.
yeah. Well, and now it's different because we have the resolution on the table, whereas we couldn't have done,
Okay, anything else? So I'm gonna close discussion, and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No,
7, motion to accept the bid from Power with Prestige, Inc. in the amount of $2,676,000 for contract number 2B, electrical construction for the Village of Warwick wastewater treatment plant improvement project and authorize the mayor to sign any necessary documents regarding the same as per the recommendation of village engineer Barton and Legis.
Second.
Any comments? Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
No.
Motion to refund the $500 short-term rental registration application and inspection fee for 13 Orchard Street to Jody Santangelo, as no action was taken on the application and the property will no longer be used as a short-term rental per the request of building inspector / code enforcement officer Boris Rudzinski.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve payment number 17 in the amount of $22,932.34 to TAM Enterprises, Inc. for the well number 3 treatment plant project as per the recommendation of Pitt and Garrow and Doach Consulting Engineers, PC. Funds are appropriated in budget code H.8330.2000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to hire Matthew Highland to the position of seasonal Department of Public Works laborer at 40 hours per week for 16 weeks with a start date of May 18th, 2026, as per the recommendation of DPW Supervisor Michael Moser. Salary will be based on the FY 25-26 and FY 26-27 budget.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to ratify and approve the previously executed side letter of agreement between the Village of Warwick and the local union number 445 International Brotherhood of Teamsters, authorizing village employee Antonio Rivera to carry over 15.5 vacation days as reviewed in consultation with the village's labor council.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept the bid from Riverland Trading LLC for the delivery of potassium permanganate as per the recommendation of H2O Innovation Senior Area Manager Michael Herbert. The contract period will be June 1st, 2026 to May 31st, 2027.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 13, motion to reject all bids received on March 31st, 2026 for sodium hypochlorite liquid 12.5% and receive new bids for sodium hypochlorite liquid chlorine.
Second.
Did there have to be dates involved with that?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept the bid from Slack Chemical Company for the delivery of PACL sodium hydroxide caustic beads, sodium hydroxide liquid caustic 25%, sodium bisulfate 38%, sodium permanganate liquid 20%, and blended orthophosphate as per the recommendation of H2O Innovation Senior Area Manager Michael Herbert. The contract period will be June 1st, 2026 to May 31st, 2027.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept the bid from ASI Applied Specialties, Inc. for the delivery of Charge Pack 282 polymer liquid as per the recommendation of H2O Innovation Senior Area Manager Michael Herbert. The contract period will be June 1st, 2026 to May 31st, 2027.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept the bid from George S. Coyne Chemical Company, Inc. for the delivery of citric acid liquid 50% as per the recommendation of H2O Innovation Senior Area Manager Michael Herbert. The contract period will be June 1st, 2026 to May 31st, 2027.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution rescinding the October 18th, 2021 resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a grant agreement with the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation for the engineering planning grant related to the Village of Warwick inflow and infiltration study and authorizing the return of grant funds. Whereas at a regular meeting of the village board held on October 18th, 2021, the board adopted a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a grant agreement with the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation, NYSEFC, for an engineering planning grant, EPG, related to the Village of Warwick inflow and infiltration study And whereas the Village of Warwick has determined that it will not proceed with the project under the engineering planning grant program, and whereas as a result, it is necessary to formally rescind the October 18th, 2021 resolution and return any grant funds received from NYSEFC, including the initial payment of $15,000. Now therefore be it resolved and determined that the Village Board of the Village of Warwick hereby rescinds the resolution adopted on October 18th, 2021, authorizing the mayor to execute the grant agreement with NYSEFC for the engineering planning grant related to the inflow and infiltration study. And be it further resolved that the Village Board authorizes and directs the appropriate village officials to return the $15,000 grant payment to the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation, and to take any and all actions necessary to formally close out the grant.
Second.
Discussion?
Sure.
What led to our decision not to proceed with the study?
Well, we did the study. The study was completed. The FC wasn't satisfied that basically the project didn't come up with solutions that they found to be effective.
Oh, I
There was
Yeah.
there was a lot of kind of disagreement. I mean, I could in some parts see where they were coming from, but basically what they said is that we could take the 30,000,
So we
but
need to do more, right?
Yeah,
So
there's
we're
more that
rescinding
needs to
it
be
so we
done.
can go after more money
More,
to do the.
and
bigger-
so what
Yeah.
like it was kind of DEC didn't
They wouldn't
see
just expand the grant, you had to
Right.
start over.
they didn't see where we were focused on a certain area, and they felt it was village-wide, and because it was village-wide, you're not eligible for any more
Mhm.
funding.
Mhm.
So in the future, we're going to get very specific, localized
Mhm.
studies that are going to address
Yeah.
the issues one at a time.
The frustration is it didn't make any sense, based on the amount that we've received and the amount of work that it would take to have a village-wide study
Oh, yeah.
was like an incredible gap. So,
And I mean, I think we stuck with our work plan
Yes.
that they approved,
yes,
but at the
But it
same
would
time, they
hurt,
didn't
yes.
feel that they were getting what they needed. And while they would accept it, they were kind of saying, we're done.
Yeah, didn't they say that if we didn't rescind the grant, that grant, just because of the nature of it, would preclude us from getting further money to do further studies?
that's correct.
So by rescinding the grant, we can go after further money to
Right.
do all of the other work.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and so it was basically just like a very strict application of the rules.
Yeah.
And so this approach was just better for us financially.
Any other questions? Barry, you've been on the hot seat tonight.
I know.
I know, I get the fun.
Can I go home now?
Yeah.
It's okay, it's good. So it's a roll call.
Trustee Cheney?
Yes.
Trustee Foster?
Yes.
Trustee McKnight?
Yes.
Trustee Flora?
Yes.
Mayor Newmark?
Yes.
Arbor Day proclamation, whereas Arbor Day, a tradition dating back to 1872 when J. Sterling Morton initiated the celebration in Nebraska by planting trees, has since become a globally recognized observance promoting tree planting and environmental conservation. And whereas Arbor Day serves as a poignant reminder of the importance of trees in our ecosystem, providing numerous environmental, social, and economic benefits for current and future generations. And whereas the Village of Warwick recognizes the invaluable role that trees play in mitigating climate change, improving air quality, enhancing property values, and promoting overall health and well-being. Whereas the Village of Warwick has been a dedicated member of Tree City USA for over 40 years, demonstrating a steadfast commitment to the preservation and growth of our woodlands. And whereas the Village of Warwick has achieved the Growth Award for 26 consecutive years, the longest tenure in New York State, showcasing exemplary efforts in enhancing our community's green infrastructure and fostering environmental stewardship. And now therefore, Mayor Newhart, along with the Village Board of Trustees, do hereby proclaim April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day in the Village of Warwick, New York, and urge all residents to join in commemorating this occasion by planting trees, participating in tree-related activities, and continuing to support initiatives aimed at preserving and expanding our village forests.
Second.
And that's a roll call vote.
Trustee Cheney?
Yes.
Trustee Foster?
Yes.
Trustee McKay?
Yes.
Trustee Flora?
Yes.
Mayor Newhart?
Yes.
Motion to grant permission to Village of Warwick employee Raina Abramson to carry over 5 vacation days.
Second.
Discussion? No.
Tom, do you have any thoughts about it?
I'm happy for it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to authorize the destruction of 48 boxes of records as detailed in the attached listing of records eligible for destruction in accordance with the New York State Records Retention and Disposal Schedule LGS-1 and as part of the Village of Warwick Records Management Plan by a New York State ID preferred source vendor at a cost of up to $500 with funds appropriated in fiscal year 2025 to 2026, budget code A1410-4950.
Second.
How many times do you move those 48 boxes around?
Too many.
They're all at the garage, they're all everywhere, they've been in my car, I drive to the vault, back again.
Thank you for doing all
You're
that. It's
welcome.
wonderful.
We were
They think
clearing-
of Mar-a-Lago?
Yes. They've been everywhere. Let's get them out.
Sorry, Okay, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye. Motion to re-levy on the Village of Warwick 2026 to 27 tax bills, unpaid alarm fines, water and sewer fees, and building repair fees to properties listed on the attached document, including errors and omissions, RPTL 520 prorated taxes as per the village assessor with a total re-levy amount of $4,595.91.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion to grant permission to KC Elite Softball to use either the Daniel Prattle Field or Brown Field in Veterans Memorial Park from April 21st, 2026 through July 31st, 2026 on select days from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Request includes use of electricity and restrooms. All events shall be coordinated with other organizations that regularly use the park for practices and games. Completed park permit, proof of insurance, and security deposit have been received.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to grant permission to Park Avenue Elementary School to hold a kindergarten class picnic in Stanley Deming Park on Thursday, June 9th, 2026, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. with a rain date of Monday, June 15th, 2026. Request includes use of restrooms. Completed park permit and proof of insurance have been received.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion to grant permission to the Woodland Hollow Learning Center to use the Veterans Memorial Park Pavilion for the end of year picnic on Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026 from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Request includes use of restrooms, village-owned tables and chairs and barricades to close the road leading up to the pavilion for the duration of the event. Parking for the event will take place on the McFarland parking lot and in the parking lot next to the Daniel Prattle Field. Completed park permit, security deposit, and proof of insurance have been received.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I have a motion to authorize the zoning board of appeals escrow balance of $741.66 to Emily Enders and Matthew Morales for a variance at 23 Wheeler Avenue. All invoices have been paid per email from the Village of Warwick Zoning Board of Appeals attorney.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to authorize the mayor to enter into agreement for repayment of water and sewer charges with a tenant at 16 Poplar Street, Warwick, New York, in the amount of $2,013.78 to be paid in 8 quarterly installments of $251.72 and authorize the mayor to sign the same.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we do have one motion addendum. The mayor, since you can.
Sure. Oh, I wasn't prepared. Hang on.
Mary, do you want this one because it has the end blurb?
Thank you. Okay, resolution, Village of Warwick Board of Trustees moratorium on the issuance of peddlers and/or solicitors permits and licenses. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Warwick Board of Trustees finds that there is a critical public interest need to impose a 6-month moratorium on the issuance of commercial door-to-door peddling and/or soliciting permit and licenses. Whereas Chapter 95, titled Peddling and Soliciting of the Code of the Village of Warwick, currently contains permit and license requirements for peddlers and solicitors, which establishes a regulatory framework related to peddlers and/or solicitors. It has come to the Board of Trustees' attention that the acts of peddling and/or solicitation can be alarming to village residents, particularly when the peddler and/or solicitor knocks on a resident's door, rings their doorbell, or otherwise attempts to contact that resident while in their residence. Whereas throughout the duration of this moratorium, the Board of Trustees will review, analyze the feasibility of more stringent permitting and licensing application requirements and conditions related to peddlers and/or solicitors, licenses and permits, and the implementation of a no-knock registry to allow village residents to opt out of being contacted at their residences by peddlers and/or solicitors. Whereas the Board of Trustees finds that Chapter 95 of the Village Code established initial requirements governing peddling and solicitation, but that the standards prescribed for these permits and license do not adequately address the welfare and safety concerns that have come up to the Board of Trustees' attention, including but not limited to a lack of criminal history searches, background checks of peddlers and/or solicitors, a lack of protection of residents' tranquility and privacy, and a mechanism for village residents to opt out of unwanted contact from peddlers and/or solicitors at their residences. Whereas, considering the safety, well-being, and privacy concerns among the community associated with solicitors and/or peddlers soliciting on a private property for the well-being of both peddlers and/or solicitors and village residents, these circumstances require that the Board of Trustees undertake without delay a review of the existing sections of Chapter 95 of the Village Code in order to determine whether and/or how these regulations should be amended, particularly with regard to the feasibility of more stringent licensing requirements and procedures, as well as the implementation of a no-knock registry containing a list of property owners within the village that opt out of being subject to peddling and/or solicitation. Whereas the Board of Trustees finds that the adoption of a moratorium on the issuance of permits and licenses related to commercial door-to-door peddling and/or soliciting is required in order to provide adequate time for the Board of Trustees to develop a framework of best practices and to prevent interim action that may frustrate the intent of the amendments to Chapter 95 of the Village Code. This moratorium will not apply to bona fide not-for-profit organizations and their employees or members. Whereas this moratorium applies to the issuance of all peddling and/or soliciting permits and licenses for door-to-door commercial peddling and/or soliciting by the village clerk. This resolution will not otherwise void, nullify, or in any way supersede or modify any village code sections related to enforcement, penalization, or prosecution of individuals or entities who violate the current village code sections related to peddling and/or solicitation licensing and permitting while this moratorium is in effect. Whereas peddling or soliciting without a valid permit is prohibited, whereas this resolution supersedes any and all village law or other provisions of law, rule, or regulation that require specific action upon an application related to the issuance of a peddler's or solicitor's permit or license or ability to do so. The moratorium will not apply to valid existing permits. The moratorium suspends any ability of the Village of Warwick to issue peddlers and/or solicitors permits and licenses. This moratorium supersedes any village, local laws, or village code provisions to the contrary that require any specific action on an application by any board or village official or employee within the village. This moratorium supersedes any New York State or village local laws, rules, or regulations pertaining to the grant of any variance authority by any relevant board related to the issuance or denial of permits under the current village code. It is the intention of this resolution that any grant of permission related to any permit by any village employee, official, or board is superseded by this resolution. Whereas this moratorium shall expire without further action of the Board of Trustees 6 months following this date, or upon adoption of a local law amending the current peddling and soliciting village code provisions, and thereafter shall be of no force or effect. Now, therefore, it is resolved that this is a type 2 action under seeker and no further review is required, and that the Board of Trustees adopts this resolution and implements this moratorium effective April 27th, 2026.
Very good.
Second.
And the roll call vote.
Trustee Cheney?
Yes.
Trustee Foster?
Yes.
Trustee Flora?
Yes.
Trustee McKnight?
Yes.
Mayor Newhart?
Yes. And reports. Yes. Barry, do you have anything for us?
Just to repeat, what I said last meeting, the construction on the roads, within the village and outside and around it, is in full swing. There's been a lot of, milling of the roadway in preparation for paving. So, you know, we're gonna see some tangible results pretty quickly, I would think. Just, you know, bear with it and remember that the most important thing as you're going through construction zones is the safety of the workers. So be diligent about watching for that and go at a very slow, safe speed.
And Carly brought this to my attention, that some of the work that's being done specifically in the downtown, in the business district, it's very difficult to navigate because of just where they are and the depth of what they're doing. But there seems to be no safe zone for pedestrians, and that is something that I brought to the attention of the project manager, but I haven't seen any changes, so I'm going to revisit it with him. But it definitely, the reason why I want to say that is when you're downtown, and especially now because there's a lot of kids downtown, there's a lot of young boys and girls after school and enjoying our wonderful community in downtown, but please be very vigilant and careful because there's a lot of traffic, and with the sidewalks the way they are, it pushes people out into the parking zone, and it could be a problem. So it could be dangerous. So
Yeah, in
Good
some
point.
areas, it's on both sides of the street and they haven't provided any alternative safe walking path. Which seems to me that that's like typical, right? Like, but I mean, that they would provide.
But to provide it, then we lose parking spaces. So I guess it's a matter of,
Yeah, I think we have to prioritize the safety of the pedestrians. We were walking downtown, I had 2 kids, a dog in tow, and we were having to like go out and there was like no safe way to get around, and I've been getting complaints.
So I'll follow through on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Carly?
I have some updates. I actually attended with the chamber and with the high school, the high school career day.
Yeah.
And I was sure that I was going to be swamped by teenagers very interested in what it is to be a trustee, and I was Billy No Mates pretty much the whole time. The chamber felt bad for me and eventually deposited a whole bunch of Starbursts on my table to try to lure children and talk to me.
with Amy, that doesn't sound good, though.
It was a very humbling experience, but anyway, we were present and we had presents.
Actually, I've been there before as the mayor
And
and Supervisor Sweeten at the time, and we got no action.
it's wild. I mean, I thought I had all kinds of stuff. I thought I had imagery anyway. But it was well attended. There were tons of kids there. They just weren't at my table. But I think it's a really good opportunity for the kids to learn. The other thing I wanted to bring to the board is we had spoken a while ago about doing some skateboard safety classes
Correct.
at the beginning of the season. And the skateboard initiative is also really interested in that, as well as the Hudson Valley Film Festival. So there's this idea that has come about doing like a little
Public safety.
party kind of thing,
Oh.
like having some music, potentially a DJ or some other live music, and like a pizza guy and
Ice cream truck.
Peddlers, no
yeah,
peddlers.
peddlers and the skate and also the oh my gosh, the skateboard teachers, whatever they're called, skateboard safety people. And so the question for the board is, because we've already said that we want to kind of fund that teaching, is whether we wanted to like co-host this event, or whether they, the skateboard initiative should submit. I mean, I can talk to you offline, but anyway, I wanted everybody to know about it.
I think we should co-host it. I mean, it is our facility and we want,
Seems
To
like a
promote.
really fun
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah, it's a great space too.
Yeah, and we can talk about like treatment of the space, like, so, and then also there's been a lot of activity going on with the Safe Streets for All. It's gotten a little quieter on the public side, but the team has completed their initial crash analysis, so you can expect some data around that soon. We have a stakeholder advisory group meeting coming up. I'm still working on the video for the Village of Warwick to go out, and then shortly after that, we also have the village's demonstration projects under review by NEPA and SHPO. So even though it's gotten a little bit quieter there, that's because there's a lot of activity happening behind the scenes, and then you'll start seeing a lot more sometime soon.
and Patriots Path.
Yeah,
Okay.
you want to provide the update on
No.
it? You've been doing a lot of the work on it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
do
you
it
do.
quickly.
Mhm.
Patriots Path is a project that we're working on. We've received grant funding from Senator Skoufis, not only for the design of it, but also for the implementation of it. And the concept is, this is in Veterans Memorial Park. And the idea is to expand the focus on the veterans' experience. And it is a walk that will be partially transportation for people to walk in a safe place instead of on the roadway, but also educational and experiential, and paying tribute to periods of time in our history when there were battles or wars, starting with the colonial period. Then it's broken up into basically 7 rooms of experience as you go through the walkway. And that includes the colonial period, Civil War, World War I, World War II, Korea, and then contemporary battles as we have been in the past 20 years. So that's sort of a quick synopsis, but we've been working with an incredible group of men and women who are mostly veterans or they are representing veterans organizations. And it's been a great experience overall. They've brought a lot to the table as far as design and ideas. And we're working with KAN, Landscape Architects out of Kingston. And we're at the stage where there has been a determination on the shape and form of the pathway. And the next step is really to get into more of the details. And I did reach out to the school district, and because we'd like to engage the history departments into helping us create these focused rooms, focused areas, and also with signage. So there's a lot going on, and it's great.
It's super cool.
It's a great
Yeah.
project.
It's really
And
beautiful.
it's really great because this year we're celebrating the 250th anniversary of our country, and it really fits into that, and hopefully we'll get it done and we can celebrate it even more.
Yeah.
So Mary,
Yeah, I just want to announce one upcoming event with Wickham Works. This is something we've done before. It's been successful. It is Joyful Arts for seniors, citizens, and caregivers. These will be every Friday in May. So it's May 1st, May 8th, 15, 22, and 28 at 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. And that will be at the Albert Wisner Public Library. You can register on their website. Activities are designed to suit a range of skill levels, making the program welcoming for everyone. Workshops include felting, printmaking, bookmaking, and decorative arts. And this is with local artist Jenny Torino.
Can I do a quick art build, because I forgot to mention that the community center is hosting our open art sessions for the CPD action plan as well, and those are on Tuesday evenings until the end of the month.
that's great,
Yeah.
very good.
That's fun.
Anything else?
Yes, briefly. So just an update. If you recall, on January 5th, I submitted a FOIL request to the New York State Department of Public Service regarding their oversight or lack thereof of Orange and Rockland about the BESS fires. And it took them 3.5 months to get back to me. They sent me 17 different cases, 941 files, and around 33,000 pages. So, in the same breath, they also mentioned that there's certain things they're not going to share with us because it's privileged. And so I have to think that throwing up a big wall of data at us is intentional. I don't take kindly to that, but I will go through these. So something I think we should discuss our options with council here. We have 30 days to file an appeal. I feel like we should for several reasons. And just to be perfectly clear, we still have not received, to my knowledge, anything of what we've asked from Orange and Rockland.
And there was a lot that we asked for.
We received nothing.
No.
And we were told, we don't have to give that to you. So I think we do need to discuss as a board, because we're not only getting, stonewalled by ONR, we're getting the runaround by the commission that's supposed to regulate them.
Didn't they try to claim that it was interagency correspondence, and that's why they didn't have to share anything that they'd corresponded with O&R with us?
Correct.
And
But that's not, they're not interagent.
no, it's
No.
not a public, O&R.
They
is not a
claim
public
intra-agency.
Intra-agency.
And also in the same breath, they said, oh, but also we don't have it.
Yeah.
But ONR did, when they have to file their annual report, they did request, coincidentally the same day as the fire, to redact much of it, and they were granted that. And so we only have a redacted copy. So there's a lot that's missing. I refuse to believe that there wasn't oversight of this, especially on one hand, when you have the state pushing all these megawatts of alternative energy, non-wire alternative projects, NWAs, on municipalities. And let's be honest, ONR had something to gain from this. So I just think we can't let this go. We need to keep our foot in the pedal and keep moving forward.
Especially at the time that they were doing their campaigning to get these projects underway,
Through ONR?
the ONR, it was basically the Wild Wild West. There was no state oversight or regulation. And that hasn't actually occurred until this past January. So it's really kind of mind blowing. But I'd like to go into executive session to discuss this with the board. But before I do that, I just want to say one thing, a small report, in that we've already discussed that we're Tree City this coming Friday. What is that, the
Arbor Day?
Yes, it's, the 24th is Arbor Day, and the board, of course, is invited, but we'll be at the Roger Metzger Arboretum with the Shade Tree Commission and with probably 100 first graders. And you are all welcome to attend. It's always a great event. We will be planting an elm tree in honor of the 250th birthday of our great country. So it should be really wonderful. So I just want everyone to know the public is invited. That's why I want to put it out there. But yes, you could make a motion to go, and we'll go into executive session when we return. We will not be doing any further business or making any other motions. Sorry.
I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to seek the confidential advice of counsel.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me.
Or can I ask them to go?
Oh, no.
Where can we
They
put
can
them?
stay.
Oh, okay.